Neighbors trashed my backyard during a party while I was away, so I reported their illegal activities to the police, and now they're facing eviction. I'm 32, male, and have been living in my house for about 5 years now. It's a nice enough place in a quiet suburban neighborhood. Families, retirees, the kind of area where you expect peace and quiet. I work as a software engineer, and most of my days are spent at the office or working from home. I didn't move here to make friends or get involved in the neighborhood's drama. I just wanted space, privacy. Unfortunately, that's not how things turned out. About a year after I moved in, a couple, let's call them M and J, moved into the house next door. They were younger than me, maybe late 20s, and from the start, they were trouble. Loud, entitled, constantly acting like the whole neighborhood revolved around them. At first, I didn't care. It's not like I'm against people having fun, but these two, they were on another level. It started with weekend parties, blaring music, drunk guests, and cars lining the street. It didn't take long for it to escalate. I tried to be patient. After all, everyone's entitled to enjoy themselves from time to time. But this wasn't just now and then. This was every weekend, sometimes even on weekdays. And they weren't just noisy. Their guests would park wherever the hell they wanted, even if that meant blocking my driveway. Every time I had to knock on their door to ask someone to move their car, I got the same condescending response from M. "Dude, it's just one night. Relax," he'd say, smirking, beer in hand. Meanwhile, Jay would stand behind him, nodding like some sort of brainless backup. "Yeah, we're just having fun. Don't be that guy." I kept my cool as best I could. After all, I didn't want to be that guy, the grumpy neighbor who couldn't handle some noise. But after months of this crap, I was nearing my breaking point. One weekend, I went out of town for a friend's wedding. I was gone from Friday to Sunday, just 3 days. I didn't think much of it. I figured I'd come home, tired but relaxed, and get back to my usual routine. But when I pulled into my driveway Sunday night, I knew something was wrong. First, there was trash everywhere. Empty beer bottles, plastic cups, even a broken lawn chair lying in the middle of the street. I could still hear music coming from M and J's place, though it was quieter now, like the party was winding down. Then I noticed my gate was wide open. That gate is always locked. Always. I rushed over to check, and my backyard was a disaster. Beer cans, cigarette butts, and fast food wrappers were scattered all over the lawn. My patio furniture was flipped over like someone had been roughhousing on it. Worse, my grill, the new one I had just bought, was knocked over, dented, and covered in grease and food scraps. It looked like they had a barbecue in my yard. And as if that wasn't bad enough, there were giant patches of grass torn up, like a bunch of idiots had been playing soccer while drunk out of their minds. I was livid. It didn't take a genius to figure out who was responsible. M and J's party had spilled over into my yard, and they clearly didn't give a damn. They had treated my property like an extension of their own personal frat house. I stormed over to their house, banging on the door harder than I ever had. After what felt like an eternity, M opened the door, looking half drunk and irritated that I was interrupting his night. "Hey man, what's the problem?" he slurred, leaning against the door frame like he didn't have a care in the world. "The problem?" I growled. "You trashed my yard. Beer bottles, cigarette butts, food everywhere. My grill is wrecked. What the hell were you thinking?" M squinted at me, as if I was speaking a foreign language. "What? Nah, dude, we didn't do anything to your yard." "Chill out. Don't lie to me," I snapped. "I was gone for 3 days, and now my backyard looks like a damn landfill. You let your party spill over. I want you to clean it up and pay for the damage. I'm not asking." Jay appeared behind him, just as clueless. "Babe, what's going on?" she asked, like she had no idea how things had gotten this far. I pointed toward my house. "Your party trashed my backyard, and now I'm standing here asking for an apology. Hell, forget the apology. You're cleaning it up, and you're gonna pay for what you ruined." M just laughed. "Dude, come on, it's just grass and some chairs. You're being way too dramatic. We'll get someone to clean it up. No big deal." "No big deal?" I was barely holding it together. "You wrecked my yard, my grill's broken, and you think I'm being dramatic? I'm done with this. You're paying for everything." M's smirk faded, and he crossed his arms, straightening up. "Look, man, you're making this into something bigger than it is. It's not like we trashed your house, it's just a yard. Get over it. I stepped closer, lowering my voice. You're going to pay for the damage. If you don't, I'll make sure this doesn't end well for you. M didn't take the threat seriously. What are you gonna do? Call the cops over some beer cans? Come on, man. Be real. I didn't respond. I just turned and walked back to my house, seething. He thought I was bluffing, that I'd let this slide like all the other times. But he didn't know what I knew. Over the last few months, I'd noticed some sketchy things happening around their house. Late-night visitors, cars pulling up at weird hours, people hanging around who clearly didn't live in the neighborhood. At first, I didn't think much of it, but after they trashed my yard, I started paying closer attention. It didn't take long to figure out that M and J were running some sort of side hustle, likely some illegal substances. The next day, I made a call to the local police's non-emergency line. I didn't mention the party or the yard. Instead, I laid out the suspicious activity I'd been noticing for months. The late-night traffic, the strange visitors, the way people hung around like they were waiting for something. The dispatcher thanked me for the information and said they'd look into it. For a few weeks, nothing happened, but I kept watching. Sure enough, one evening, 2 unmarked police cars rolled up to M and J's house. They weren't messing around. Within minutes, officers were inside, pulling people out in handcuffs, M and J included. Turns out, my little tip-off was exactly what they needed to take down their operation. I watched from my window as M and J were led out in cuffs, their faces a mix of shock and confusion. They had no idea how things had gotten to this point, no clue that their entitled behavior had come back to bite them harder than they ever expected. The neighborhood was buzzing the next morning. Apparently, the cops had been watching them for a while, and my call had helped them build their case. It didn't take long for an eviction notice to show up on their door. Within a month, they were gone, moved out, all their stuff packed into a truck. The block was quieter, cleaner. No more parties, no more random cars blocking my driveway. Just peace. I never expected things to escalate like they did. I thought I'd just report some shady behavior and maybe get them to clean up their act. But honestly, I don't feel bad about it at all. They trashed my property, treated me like I didn't matter, and got what was coming to them. You can only act like the world revolves around you for so long before it all comes crashing down. So yeah, if your neighbors act like entitled jerks, don't be afraid to stand up for yourself. You never know what's really going on behind closed doors, and sometimes karma just needs a little nudge. And if you want more stories like this one, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You never know what kind of drama's brewing right next door.